Hello. Just a few more things on parenting, our
In the
summer little mini series.
That's right. It's Parenting in the Summer. I'm Sherry.
I'm Sarah.
So we've been talking about setting goals for the summer for your kids, for you and your mate, for those of you who are married, and for yourself. Being specific, have things down, and then steps to get to those goals. So we've talked about
I'll share one of mine real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
For June, specifically, is riding my bike every day. And I haven't made it every day, but at least 2 or 3 times a week, if not
That's
more,
good.
some. But I think I heard someone say, if you miss one day, just don't miss 2. You know, some of it is just working on consistency.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like last night, it was at 9 something after our Father's Day get together, and it was just twice around the block. And I've talked a lot of different times about prayer walks, and so now it's prayer bike rides.
Oh,
and
that's
just
a great
having a
idea.
minute.
So that's one goal that you've had for yourself for the
June,
summer, for the month
specifically.
of June. Just for the month of June. And I noticed another one was push-ups I saw on your list.
Yeah, well, those ones I haven't done too well. But
Push-ups is on my list, and walking.
I did them yesterday, I think, and I'll work to get 2 days in a row. Those ones have
And
been
the
a little slack.
key to any of this stuff, whether it's goals for our kids, us, our mates, is making it realistic. You don't want to start with, I'm going to do 400 push-ups when you don't do 4. You know, start with 10 or 5 or 2, depending on
Well,
where
and
you
I've
are.
laughed about being randomly consistent, but I've also seen the power of being consistent daily, and so working on that a little bit more.
Yes.
So even if I'm not getting 100%, like 50, 70 is better than what it used to be.
That's right. So anyway, back to our kids in the summertime. One of the things we talked about last time was just letting your kids decide one activity they would like to do a week, and then following through with that. And that can be a ton of different things: going to a museum, going to the park, going swimming, playing tennis together, whatever, but they get to pick. So another thing in developing a stronger relationship with your kids is called just me and mom time, or me and dad time, where it's just you take one of your kids. It can be for 5 minutes, it can be for a trip you take them to the store with you, but it's where you're giving that child your 100% attention. And it's like, you know, not too long ago, I was at a get together, and one of my good friends was there, and there was just a few things I wanted to tell her, but because there were so many people and there was so much going on, I never really got to say what I wanted to her. And I think sometimes our kids feel the same way. When you have 2 or 3 kids, or a lot of activities going on, you've got some stuff on the inside that you really want to share, but there's just not that one-on-one time. So what we call this is one-on-one time with either mom or dad. And a lot of
And starting small, like we hit on
Yes.
before. So not too long ago, I took Bryce to the bookstore, which he didn't think he wanted to do that, but he ended up finding this cookbook, and you mentioned this last time too, a Disney cookbook. And so a few times so far we've done where he picked a few of the recipes, the movie, he got to like run the whole night, which he's a little bit of a Schaefer. So he was super excited.
bossy, in other words, bossy.
He's a director type.
Yes.
So
yes.
anyway, but he was so excited to say when we had the certain drink, or when he brought the food out during the movie, which he knows some of the movies pretty well. So he had very intentional times he wanted to do things, but it was really fun too to get to see his ownership and his creativity. And the bookstore part didn't take a ton of time. Now, getting some of the groceries and doing some of that later that week or whatever did.
Yes.
And you can decide how that works. Maybe it's just you're scheduling a meal once a month, but being intentional with some of those little times, even if it's a walk around the block with one of your kids, or just a
Yes.
special outing for a special drink, or to the
Yes.
park, like you said.
Well, I think the cool thing here is that Bryce, Sarah's son, is the second born. And so we know all the characteristics of the firstborn. And usually they're the directors, they organize things, they're, you know, just very efficient. But a lot of times that doesn't give the secondborn an opportunity to develop in those skills, because the firstborn is always doing it. So it's really neat to see him start to get to be the director and have ideas and orchestrate things, because that's helping his character and him to grow into being the leader that God's created him to be. Whereas he's had a lot of opportunity to sit back and watch his sister do things like that. So that's really neat to see. So I've gotten a lot of these ideas from this book, Sanity in the Summertime, and I talk about quite a few of these things in my 10-minute power tips for parents, available on Amazon. So just wanted to remind you, maybe you bought it, just go back and reread some of the chapters. But the thing that we wanted to focus on today is one-on-one time with parents and different ways that can play out where you and your child have individual time together. So we talked about last time, a fun thing would be let them plan the activity. Well, this is one-on-one time where it's just you and them. And another way that you can see this come about in the way they would like to see it happen is just to have them maybe write on index cards a little coupon book of things they want to do with you one-on-one. You know, it could be going to get ice cream, it could be cooking something together, a bike ride, reading. It might just having you read or taking turns read, but they get to determine what it is they would like to do with you. And a lot of times you really might not know what they're feeling or going through, especially preteens and teens, until you have that one-on-one time with them. And I know one thing that we like to do is that just helps communication stay effective and for you to really understand where your kid is just asking them a few questions when you have that one-on-one time, or when you're tucking them into bed or whatever, is hey, what were you sad about today? Was there anything you were sad about? And giving them a chance to talk. Not that you try to fix it, you're just listening. And then another question might be, what are you mad about? What are you sad about? Giving them time to talk. You're not fixing anything, you're just listening. Another thing is there anything you're scared about? And then the last question to end up with is, what are you glad about? So you end on a high note. But sometimes that takes 3 or 4 minutes. But if they've had something happen to them, or a feeling that they have that they don't really quite know how to talk about or get out or express themselves, then those times of just going a little bit deeper will help them get that out. You'll know how to pray for them, and then maybe at another time you come back and have some solutions that they might get help from.
That's great. And sometimes with your spouse, every once in a while, doing that too.
Oh, absolutely.
And we kind of encourage, and we kind of use this at our women's encounters. And so sometimes you repeat it to give them a little time to process. Well, what else are you mad about? If you could be mad about anything else, what would it be? Because sometimes it takes a little while to get some of that stuff out. And then you really can get to some of the happy, and it is very helpful.
Well, we call it emptying the emotional jug. And so many times there's so much happening in a day. Stuff happens. Maybe we get our feelings hurt. We don't get invited somewhere, or we hear someone making fun of us. And so we just stuff those feelings and we don't talk about them. And then you've been around someone where the least little thing happens and they just explode and all that stuff comes out. Well, it's because little by little they haven't been emptying what's been hurting them or making them mad or sad. They haven't dealt with it. It's just stuffed, and then it explodes like a volcano. So this happens between husband and wives. It happens between parents and kids. It happens between friends.
Just in general, things that happen in life. So I also wanted to encourage, one of my friends listens to everything on 2 speeds. So can listen 1.5, 1.75, see how fast you can get through some of these real quick while you do those dishes. So share it with a friend too, and we hope they're encouraging. We hope it sparks conversation for you and friends, for you and your family, on some summer tips and tricks. Did we have one other little quick one for road trips, I thought you mentioned?
Oh, road trips, just, when you're doing a road trip, make sure you have lots of snacks, some books on that you can listen to, audiobooks, things you can read,
teaching.
Games, memory work stuff. Just
We'll do-
over plan.
Yeah, we'll do some Bible stuff. We'll do a little dance party. Bryce loves to be the DJ, so he got to pick for 30 minutes the playlist, then Bailey got to pick for 30 minutes the playlist. And then everyone has their own time for an hour or two.
Right.
And then we have where we can watch a movie. So we did a long trip from Branson home, and so we were able to do a few movies.
For sure.
So,
That's great.
Anyway,
Till next
be
time.
creative,
Yes.
and we're believing with you for a great summer.
Yes.
I think this is going to be on YouTube, so subscribe, share it with
Sure.
people, and comment if you have questions or ideas
Yes.
below.
Yes. Let us know.